to a woman who's dedicated literally decades of her life to fighting for human rights, particularly in China, the distinguished Speaker of the House, the gentlewoman from California, Ms. Pelosi.
Distinguished speakers recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding. I thank him and Mr. McCall and Mr. Engel, members of the chairman, ranking member, and senior member of the Foreign Affairs Committee for bringing this important legislation to the floor. It's an honor to be here with all of you, with Mr. Swazi, who's been a champion for religious rights throughout the world. And Mr. Smith and I go back decades in our fight for human rights in China, whether it's Tibet, whether it's in Beijing, whether it's in Hong Kong, the list goes on and on. I thank you for your ongoing leadership, Mr. Smith. And I also thank the chairman of the committee, Mr. McGovern, chair of the Congressional Executive Commission on China, and chair of the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission. Mr. Smith is the ranking member of that China Executive Commission on China. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Mr. Smith, today in this House of Representatives, in a very strong bipartisan way, we are sending a message to the persecuted that they are not forgotten. We're saying to the President of China, you may tell these people that they are forgotten, but they aren't. And on the floor of the House of Representatives, on a bipartisan, bicameral legislation, we are here. We are here in support of the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act, strong bipartisan legislation to address and defend the rights and dignity of the Uyghur people from China's oppression. Today, again, we're sending that message, even as we're heartbroken as to what the Chinese people are suffering in terms of COVID-19 and that crisis. We all are sad about that. But I thank Chris Smith, again, Mr. Engel, Mr. McCall, Mr. Senator Rubio, also for his leadership on this legislation. He has been a champion working with us on the China issues. Beijing's barbarous actions targeting the Uyghur people are an outrage to the collective conscience of the world. Across the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, the Uyghur people and other Muslim minorities face brutal oppression, as Mr. Smith was pointing out. A pervasive state of mass surveillance and predictive policing used to discriminate and violate the human rights of minorities. A mass incarceration of more than 1 million, and that is a small number, a very conservative small number, of innocent people with beating, solitary confinement, deprivation of food and medical treatment. The number is probably much larger than that. Forced sterilization and other forms of torture, incidents of mass shootings, extrajudicial killings, and the intimidation and suppression of journalists courageously exposing the truth. Today, with this overwhelming bipartisan legislation, the United States Congress is taking a firm step to counter Beijing's horrific human rights abuses against the Uyghurs. In the House, when brought to the floor in December, this legislation passed on nearly unanimous basis. And in the Senate, it passed under unanimous consent with more than 50 co-sponsors on both sides of the aisle. This legislation helps uncover the truth, requiring reports by the Director of the National Intelligence, State Department, and FBI about the depths of the crisis and about China's campaign against journalists exposing the facts. It creates accountability and ensures transparency of Chinese and foreign companies involved in the camps. American and Chinese and foreign companies involved in these camps. And it engages the full firepower of American law and leadership, including by urging the application of targeted sanctions against those involved in the oppression of the Uyghur people. We must continue to raise a drumbeat and shine the light of abuse perpetrated by Beijing against the Uyghurs whenever we can, from this House floor to the State Department to other multilateral institutions. Last Friday, as Speaker, I had the honor of appointing Nuri Trokel, a human rights champion who was born in a camp in Xinjiang region, I had the privilege of appointing him to the United States Commission on International Freedom, largely focused with Ambassador Brownback's leadership on freedom of religion in many countries. There I am confident that he will continue to be a powerful voice for the Uyghur people and for the cause of justice around the world. In just over a week, just think of it, Mr. Smith, in just over a week, the global community will mark the solemn milestone of 31 years since the Tiananmen Square massacre, when students, workers, and citizens were gunned down as they peacefully defied an oppressive regime to demand their liberties and human rights. Sadly, today, Beijing's human rights abuses blatantly continue, targeting so many. From the decades-long abuse faced by the Tibetan people, many of us have visited Tibet and seen firsthand what is happening there. In Hong Kong's fight for democracy and the rule of law, which have once again been targeted in recent days in a very shameful way, and to the jailing of journalists, human rights lawyers, Christians, and democracy advocates on the mainland, throughout the mainland. To honor those all who have been persecuted, we must renew our commitment to speaking out against China's human rights. If we do not speak out, if America does not speak out against human rights in China because of some commercial interest, then we lose all moral authority to speak out on human rights any place, human rights violations any place in the world. It's a challenge to our conscience. We must do the right thing. And that's what we're doing today. In honor of the millions fighting for their dignity, safety, and the rights in China and around the world, I strongly urge a bipartisan vote for the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act. I thank those, again, responsible, Mr. McCall, Mr. Engel, Mr. Sherman, Mr. Smith, members of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Mr. Swazi, who's been a champion, as I say, on religious freedom throughout the world. And I want to further close by commending Mr. McGovern again for being relentless and persistent in terms of shining a bright light on human rights violations throughout the world, and especially in China. With that, Madam Chair, and I vote and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back.